Today, we're going to talk about a skill that is just timeless and so useful, the art of hand sewing. And this isn't just about fixing things. It's really about creativity and that amazing feeling you get when you make something with your own two hands.
So, have you ever been there? You find a tiny tear in your favorite shirt or a button pops off a new jacket, and you just feel that little bit of frustration? Well, what if I told you that you could solve those problems yourself in just a few minutes? That's what hand sewing is. It's kind of like a practical superpower, and it opens up a whole world of creativity.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're breaking it down into 5 really simple parts. We'll kick things off with your basic toolkit. Then we'll tackle the 2 steps that sometimes trip people up at first, threading that needle and tying a solid knot. After that, the fun part, the actual stitches. And finally, we'll wrap up with a few smart habits to keep your sewing safe and enjoyable.
Okay, first things first, your sewing starter kit. The best part about hand sewing is just how easy it is to get into. You absolutely do not need some fancy machine or a whole room full of supplies. Nope. In fact, the essentials are about as simple as it gets.
Believe it or not, this is it. This is the entire toolkit. All you really need to get going are these 3 things: a needle, some thread, and a pair of scissors. That's it. With just these basics, you've got everything you need to start mending and making. It really is that straightforward.
All right, let's tackle what some people think is the first big hurdle, threading the needle. It can look a little fiddly, I get it, but I promise there's a simple technique that makes it a breeze. Honestly, getting this down is your first big win, and it feels great.
Okay, let's walk through this together. First, a great tip is to pull a length of thread from the spool that reaches roughly from your fingertips to your elbow. That's a really manageable amount. Now, here's the real secret. It's all in step 2. Take your scissors and cut the thread at a sharp angle. That gives you a nice clean point to work with. Hold the thread really close to that pointy tip, push it right through the eye of the needle, and you're golden. You've got this.
Perfect! Your needle is threaded. Now we just have to secure it. A good knot is basically the anchor for all of your sewing. It's what keeps your hard work from just pulling right out. And just like threading the needle, there's a super simple trick to getting it right every single time. This is my absolute favorite way to do it because it's so reliable. Just take the end of the thread and wrap it around your pointer finger 2 or 3 times. Then, using your thumb, just roll that little coil of thread down and off your fingertip. As you pull the long end of the thread, you'll feel it tighten up into a perfect, tiny knot.
Now, this is a fantastic pro tip. Whether you use a single or double thread really just depends on the job. So for more delicate, almost invisible repairs, you'll want a single thread. That means you knot just one end, leaving the other one short. But for jobs that need to be extra strong, like say sewing a button back on a heavy coat, you'll pull both ends of the thread so they're even and then knot them together. That gives you a double thread for double the strength.
Okay, with your needle threaded and your knot tied, you are ready for the main event, the stitches. We're just going to look at the basics here. And hey, don't think of this as a list you have to memorize. Think of these stitches more like a versatile toolkit, where each one is perfect for a specific job.
But before we dive in, what exactly is a stitch? It's so simple. It's just a single loop of thread made by a needle. That's all it is. Every single piece of clothing, every quilt, every patch, it's all just made up of thousands and thousands of these tiny, simple loops. Here are 5 of the most essential stitches you'll probably ever need. The running stitch, that's your basic quick and easy stitch. The back stitch is your heavy-duty workhorse. It's super strong. The darning stitch is an absolute lifesaver for fixing holes. And then, when you want to get creative, the blanket stitch and the cross stitch are awesome for adding cool designs and finishing edges.
Let's just focus on the back stitch for a second, because this one is a total game changer. What makes it so incredibly strong is that each new stitch actually goes backwards a little bit to overlap with the last one. This creates this really solid, unbroken line of thread. So the takeaway here is, when you need a seam that absolutely cannot fail, the back stitch is your best friend.
And then there's a different kind of strength, the strength of repair. The darning stitch is what you'll use to fix holes. You're basically weaving a new little patch of fabric over the damaged spot using just your needle and thread. It's such a practical skill, and it can give your favorite clothes a whole new life. All right, last section. Let's talk about setting yourself up for success. Because good sewing habits, they're not just about being safe. They're about making the whole process comfortable, efficient, and something you'll actually enjoy doing for years.
The difference between a frustrating sewing project and a really relaxing one often just comes down to a few simple things you do before you even start. Any pro will tell you that getting your space and yourself ready first makes all the difference.
These are all so simple, but so important. Good posture is going to save your back, and good lighting saves your eyes. And yeah, some might seem obvious, like not putting pins in your mouth or not using your teeth as scissors, but you'd be surprised how common those habits are. Oh, and washing your hands is a big one. It keeps the natural oils from your skin off the fabric and thread so your work stays nice and clean.
And there you have it. Those are the essential building blocks of hand sewing. From threading a needle to making your first super strong seam, you now have all the foundational skills you need to mend, to create, and to customize. So I guess the only question left is, what are you going to make first? That loose button, that little tear in your jeans. The possibilities are officially in your hands.